Here are some of the top stories from last week you must have missed. On Saturday, May 31st, a tragic motor accident near Dakatsalle Bridge in Kano State resulted in the deaths of at least 20 athletes returning from the Gateway Games, one of the worst sporting tragedies Nigeria has seen. On Sunday, June 1st, activist Very Dark Man visited a shooting range in Turkey and publicly called for licensed gun ownership in Nigeria, citing the open gun market he observed. Also, on June 1st, a Lagos pastor abruptly closed his church service and disappeared after defrauded investors of his Ikeja Chamber of Commerce scheme arrived with police. On Tuesday, June 3rd, a massive fire razed over 300 shops at the Farm Centre GSM phone market in Kano. Traders are now demanding urgent government intervention. On Wednesday, June 4th, popular skitmaker Nasboi survived a terrifying car crash while en route to record a collaboration with Davido. Miraculously, he escaped without injuries. Also, on June 4th, the EFCC arraigned Chinese nationals Zhang Honglin and Gao Peihai over alleged illegal mining and hoarding of unlicensed minerals. On June 4th, Netflix announced a price hike in Nigeria. The premium plan rises to 6,500 naira per month effective July 4th, 2025. Early that day, NYSC began paying long-delayed 44,000 naira arrears to ex-corps members following the stipend increase decision. On Thursday, June 5th, singer Peter Okoye, Mr. P, publicly accused his brothers Paul and Jude of orchestrating a smear campaign to tarnish his image amid their legal disputes. Also on June 5th, Rima's album Raven Roses Ultra shattered records, becoming the first African album to exceed 3 billion streams on YouTube Music. That same day, singer Tems was honored with a Diamond Award at Billboard's Global Power Players event in London. On Friday, June 6th, Abuja electricity workers threatened mass blackouts amid internal labor disputes, sending ripples through the power grid in northern states. Also on June 6th, 2 police officers were killed in a deadly ambush in Kwara State. Security operatives are pursuing the suspects. On Wednesday, June 5th, Nigerian tech entrepreneur Sapphire Egamasi made headlines after news broke that she had been arrested in the Bronx on April 10th by the FBI over charges of defrauding U.S. agencies of approximately $1.3 million. She faces up to 20 years in prison if convicted. In Lagos, enforcement of a ban on single-use plastics began last week, with steep fines now in effect for violators. Also last week, the federal government began negotiating a 15 billion yen loan from Japan to help address worsening hunger and food insecurity across Nigeria. On Tuesday, June 3rd, WizKid was snubbed from Billboard's list of African Global Achievers, sparking outrage from fans on social media. Earlier last week in the UK, a British Nigerian art dealer was jailed for failing to report suspicious transactions linked to a man accused of financing Hezbollah. One of the most shocking moments last week came when a Nigerian man was freed after spending 8 years in prison without trial, highlighting ongoing issues in the justice system. Authorities in Edo State cracked down on bars and lounges operating without valid permits last week, enforcing immediate closures. An Onitsha trader sued NAFDAC for 15 million naira over what he described as an illegal invasion of his shop. The case was filed last week. And finally, Ireland deported 35 Nigerians last week for immigration violations as part of a broader European crackdown on illegal migration. That's a wrap on last week's headlines. Stay plugged in for more verified updates. Same time next week.